A new one-man play about the French philosopher and essay writer Michel de Montaigne is set to premiere this month. First Modern Man pays homage to the 16th century figure whose style of writing is largely said to have influenced the articles we still read today. Michael Barry has created and written the show and is with us now. Lovely to see you.
And to see you as well.
Let's just talk a little bit more about this man, because perhaps, you know, which is sad, he's slightly forgotten about to this day.
Extraordinarily, he's hardly known in England. The only people I know who responded, they said, oh yes, we know Montaigne, were people who studied French, which is extraordinary because he created the essay, which is a form which the English are brilliant at.
Yes.
It perfectly suits our national character, started by a Frenchman, but we're great at it. So it's very strange he's not more widely known. That was one of the reasons for writing the play, to spread the word a bit.
Yeah, I mean, a visionary in many ways as well. He's,
extraordinary.
You know, the articles we read today, the columns, those kind of self-help guides.
Everything.
It all came from him to some extent.
All those celebrity talks where people bare their souls to you, they all started with this 16th century Frenchman.
Yeah.
He wrote about himself with an honesty which was completely new. And his contemporaries thought this was a little bit vulgar, rather strange. But he wrote about the food he liked, what kind of sex he liked, his toilet habits, everything.
Yeah.
And he did all this to approach what was common to all men by exploring himself. But he's the start of all of those blogs about the school run, failed affairs, oh, isn't life awful, or oh, isn't life great?
Yeah.
All started with him.
Tell us a little bit about the man who'll be bringing him to life on stage and where that journey goes.
Well, we're very lucky to have Jonathan Hansler, who's a very experienced actor. He's been on the West End stage, done lots of comedy, and he's also a writer. He wrote a very successful show called Goodbye, the Afterlife of Pete and Dud. And basically the show works with, we are with Montaigne in his library, so we're his guest. So we sit with him, and he talks to us about how it started, how he started writing essays to try and fight the melancholy to which he was prone. And then he just shares his ideas, his jokes, his thoughts, his feelings, because he had quite a bit of sadness in his life as well. But all this is like so meeting someone at a dinner party, keeps you smiling, keeps you entertained. You think, this could be the start of a friendship here. And it's like that, I hope.
Interesting that, you know, the title is First Modern Man.
Yes.
And actually you mentioned there that he would talk a bit about his mental health.
Yes.
That is something which has become very modern. Men still struggle with that. In the 16th century, he was doing that.
Yes, he was. There were some external reasons. He lost 5 out of 6 children, which would affect anyone, I think. He was in what's called the Parliament of Bordeaux. To us, it would really be a court of appeal. And he was there when the very vicious and bloody civil wars broke out. And he hated cruelty. He saw people being executed and tortured for very little reason. But also, I think he was a melancholic character. So all these factors came into play. And in fact, he started his essays as a way of writing ideas down to try and control his mental processes, to understand what was going through his head. And in that process, he created the essay.
Yeah.
He actually gave us the word essay, which means a try out, an experiment, a test.
For those, you know, who hold Shakespeare high, there is a connection there as well. And perhaps Shakespeare thought he was pretty good too.
Well, it's very interesting. The jury's out on how much Montaigne influenced Shakespeare. There was a character in an early version of Hamlet called Montano, but Hamlet was written, we think, before the very popular translation of Montaigne by an Anglo-Italian called John Florio was published. But in The Tempest, there's a speech by a character called Gonzalo who talks about an ideal commonwealth, a world in which everything is natural, there's no service, no magistrates, no rent. And that speech is a straight lift from Florio's translation of Montaigne. It's completely straight lift. So Shakespeare obviously knew at least part of the essays.
Yes, yeah, a fascinating individual who hopefully will be known better because of this work.
That's my hope.
Michael, lovely to talk to you. Thank you for coming in.
Anthony, thank you so much.
Michael Barry there, who has created First Modern Man, a show which pays homage to Michel de Montaigne. It runs from the 19th of February next week until the 2nd of March over at the Hen and Chickens in Islington.